Hello, my amazing people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on your time zone or anytime you are coming across my platform. If it's your first time and you like what I'm doing here, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notifications, and that way you'll be able to know when we upload a new video. Here in Linda's TV show, we react to all forms of videos, local, international, especially what is happening in Nigeria. I want to appreciate YouTube. Yes, I will keep on appreciating them for creating this wonderful platform that we are using to disseminate information to the members of the public. At the same time, I put a disclaimer. Yes, I need to inform YouTube what I am doing here. I put a disclaimer that this platform, Linda's TV show, do not and will not promote hate speech, violence, misinformation. We are here to educate, inform the members of the public about what is happening. In fact, myself, I don't like hate speech, I don't like violence, I don't like misinformation, and I don't like instigating war. But I want to inform YouTube that a call for self-determination is not a call of war.
Proliferation of any other parallel bureaucracy in the form of advisors. All subordinate appointments and designations below ministers shall be made from the ranks of civil servants with permanent tenure in the public service. The federal legislature. A lot of you are asking, how are they going to do all of this before October? How did they change the Nigeria national anthem in just 2-3 days? These guys are up to something. And you better open your eyes. You better keep your eyes peeled. I'll continue. I know it's a long read, I told you, but I'm going to read all of this just because I want to leave it here. Right? Chapter 3:9. Federal Legislature. 1. There shall be a National Assembly for the Federation of Nigeria. It shall be a unicameral legislature. So they are now going to get rid of Senate, get rid of reps. Just going to have one National Assembly now. There's no rep, there's no Senate anymore. So hang on. Somebody said, are they going to do all of this? Baba, it is either this is fake news they want to use to distract all of us again, just like this national anthem, or indeed they are up to something. And I am. My money is that they are up to something. They are. Just pay attention. So somebody actually made this proposal. Don't get it wrong. Go. So the news then is that it is going to end up in the National Assembly, and the National Assembly is going to kind of deliberate on it and sack themselves. Anyway, in fact, hang on. There's something I want to show you. The author. So it's called The Final Draft by Akin Fakbonda. I've been trying to look for that Akin Fakbonda or this why, but I haven't yet. I haven't seen him. So I'm trying to get his image so that I can bring you the person, the brain behind this from 2021 until now. Okay. So the federal legislature, according to them, is so it said the National Assembly is going to be a unicameral legislature. So the National Assembly shall consist of members drawn equally to represent the respective regions of Nigeria. The number per region and the total number not exceeding 180 at any one time shall be as determined by resolution of the National Assembly. National Assembly members are representatives of their respective regions, and as such, not subject to control and direction at the federal level. Accordingly, they shall all be compensated, remunerated, disciplined, or recalled only through such provisions as may be authorized by their respective regional territorial legislatures. There shall be a speaker and a deputy speaker of the National Assembly, both of whom shall be elected by the members from among themselves. 5. The principal function of the National Assembly shall be the enactment of laws for good governance and effective value for performance, monitoring of the operations of the federal government. 6. 6. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the National Assembly may regulate its own procedures, adopt rules and procedures regarding the organization of its work and of its legislative process. So, notwithstanding the provisions herein, the judiciary shall have powers to inquire into compliance with stipulated rules and processes. So, the federal judiciary. 1. The federal judiciary shall, to the exclusion of any other court, have original jurisdiction in any dispute between the federal and a region, insofar as that dispute involves any question, whether of law or facts, on which the existence or extent of a legal right depends. 2. In addition to the jurisdiction conferred upon it, the federal judiciary shall have such original jurisdiction on all matters in the Federal Capital Territory as may be conferred upon it by any act of the National Assembly. 3. Provided that no original jurisdiction shall be conferred upon the Supreme Court or any Federal High Court with respect to any civil or criminal matter. 4. There shall be a Federal Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Supreme Court of Nigeria shall consist of A. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, and B. Such number of justices of the Supreme Court not exceeding 9, as may be prescribed by an act of the National Assembly. 5. For the purpose of exercising any jurisdiction conferred upon it by this Constitution or any law, the Federal Supreme Court shall be duly constituted if it consists of not less than 5 justices of the court. There shall be 6. There shall be a Federal High Court in the capital city of each region and in the Federal Capital Territory. The Federal High Court shall consist of A. A Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, and B. Such number of judges of the Federal High Court as may be prescribed by an act of the National Assembly. 7. Notwithstanding anything contained in this Constitution, and in addition to such other jurisdiction as may be conferred upon it by an act of the National Assembly, the Federal High Court shall have and exercise jurisdiction to the exclusion of any other court in civil cases and criminal matters. So 311, establishment. Thank you very much, Dora. Give me a sec, okay? I want to be sure that my audio is still pretty much like all right, so that I'm not just like there getting soaked in it and all of that, okay? So APC, they are up to, especially Tifnumbu and his gang, they are up to something, and that something is going to actually tell any moment from now, okay? So they are pushing regional system. Regionalism is not something somebody drafts a constitution for. Regionalism have to come from the point of, the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, the tribes, the ethnic, and the rest of them actually being notified. Then they will then submit their own article of participation, article of independence, or article of union or something. That is when you are going to then draft out a constitution from that. When people say, this is the type of government we want, they have to sit and discuss it. But these guys are up to something. To change the national anthem of Nigeria, you will need the 2/3 State House of Assembly of 2/3 of 36 State House of Assembly. 2/3 of 36 State House of Assembly in Nigeria is 24. So you will need 24 states in Nigeria, State House of Assembly, to deliberate and vote and pass the amendment before you can change the national anthem or pledge or anything. But if Nubu and his gang, they sat, they wrote it, they did all of that, and then they passed it. They said, the rest of you should start singing it. So for them to start pushing something like this again, it's either they are pushing for a distraction or they are testing the water for something as well. I don't really believe in this, but it is Nigeria, where you just be like, okay, did they just sit down and write to sack themselves? Remember when I told you that if you ask these people to actually either restructure Nigeria or return Nigeria back to regional system of government, you are practically tasking these criminals, right, to do what is right and then sack themselves. You understand? Like, oh, Tifnumbu and gang, we want you to do what is right. Are you with me? We want you to do what is right, but doing it means from Tifnumbu to all your National Assembly members, to all your state governors, to all of your House of Assembly and the rest, once they do the right thing, right, they will then have to sack themselves. And do you really think these ones will do that? No, they won't. So they are up to something, but let this be on record anyway. Here, let's continue. We have just about maybe 7 or 8 pages more, and I'll just close it, okay? So yeah, they said the establishment and the this is the one I want you to also take a look at. The establishment and composition of the security services, right? Whatever this even mean, right? But here, 1, there shall be an armed forces, security and intelligence services, and such other bodies for the federation as may be established by an act of National Assembly. 2, the composition of the officer corps and the other ranks of the services shall be by regional territorial configuration, such that any service stationed in each region shall, in respect of the other ranks, be exclusively composed of the citizens of that territory, while the officer corps may, for the purpose of technical specialty and operational cohesion, admit up to 10% of citizens from other regions, provided that the head of such regional command shall be an indigene of that region. That is to say, let everybody handle their own security and safety. Makes sense, Abi? 3, the headship of armed and security services shall be rotated amongst the regions, and no one region shall head more than one arm of these forces, concurrently. 4, policing and internal security services shall be decentralized, with the federal, regional, sub-regional government and communities having the right to set up and maintain their own services, such that each level of government shall have exclusive jurisdiction and control over its own territory with regards to their respective powers and functions. 5, there shall be an Inspector General of the Federal Police Service with a guaranteed non-renewable tenure of 6 years, except through an earlier resignation or by removal, only on the account of gross misconduct resolution by the 2/3 66% majority vote of elected members of the National Assembly. 6, the office of the Inspector General shall be rotated amongst the regions, and the headship of any contingency of the Federal Police Service stationed in any region shall be by an officer who is a citizen of that region, of the region. 7, the Inspector General of Police shall always act in concert with the Premier of a region and execute all lawful directives. So 3.12, management of resources and revenue. 1, constituent unit of regional territories shall control and retain all resources and revenues falling within its natural jurisdiction, but shall only pay both federal and regional taxes according to laws. 2, for the avoidance of doubt, the entire property in and control of all minerals, mineral oil and natural gas in, under or upon any land in Nigeria or in, under or upon the territorial waters of Nigeria shall vest in the government of the regional territory and the constituent units bearing such resource. 3, the National Assembly may, with the concurrent regional legislature, make laws for Nigeria or any part thereof with respect to the taxes on the income and profit of individuals and companies. So 3.13, fiscal arrangements. 1, there shall be a first line charge account, which shall be 10% of the total revenue accruing to the governments of the Federation, federal and regional, which shall consist of A, 8%, which shall be applied towards the provision of the basic social economic in disadvantaged areas across the country. B, 2% to finance a special rehabilitation fund for past devastation arising from acts and omission of the Nigerian nation states. So 2, the first line charge account shall be administered by a commission consisting of 1 member each, representing and appointed by each regional government, and a member representing the federal government, respectively. 3, the balance of 90% shall, for the purpose of sharing among tiers of government, be reckoned as 100% and shall be distributed as follows. C, 55% derivation. D, 30% to the distributable pool account. E, 15% to the federal government. 4, funds accruing to the regional territories from the distributable pool account shall be applied primarily to financing the region's capital expenditure necessary for infrastructure. Recurrent expenditure of the regions shall be funded from internally generated revenue. 5, the regional territories or sub-territories shall be responsible for the collection of value-added tax, VAT, and the revenue derived therefrom shall be retained, provided that 10% of the accrual shall be paid as tax into the first line charge accounts. 314. Remunerations and compensations in the public service. There shall be a single scale of salaries and allowances for the Federal Public Service of Nigeria to be periodically presented to and approved by the National Assembly. 2, for the avoidance of doubt, there shall be no other form or formats of remunerations or compensation outside the stipulations of the Unified Federal Public Service Scale of Salaries and Wages, unless expressly approved by 2/3, 66% votes by elected members of the National Assembly. 3, the regional territories shall have powers to determine and set the salary structure of their respective public services. 315. Anti-corruption measures. 1, government at all levels shall abolish all corrupt practices and abuse of power. 2, all public officers' asset declaration and all forms of affairs shall be available for scrutiny by the public and shall be publishable without hindrance in the mass media. 3, all investments held by every public officer in any profit-making enterprise shall be held in a blind trust, while tax clearance certificates of all public officers shall be available for public scrutiny and shall be publishable by the mass media. 4, no public officer shall operate a bank account or own any form of movable or immovable asset outside of Nigeria, unless fully disclosed prior to or after the period of public service. 5, all gifts in whatever form made to the public officer or to his or her blood relations shall immediately be disclosed to the appropriate institutions of government that shall be designated by the National Assembly or the regional legislature. Retention or compulsory donation to the state by the public officer shall be at the discretion of such institutions, whose decision shall not be interfered with by any other person or body. 316. Provisions for the judicial adjudication of corruption and betrayal of trust matters. 1, in cases of corrupt practices, criminal breach of trust, public trust, plundering of public funds and resources, with prima facie case having been established by the court of original jurisdiction, the doctrine of the accused being assumed to be guilty until proven innocent shall subsequently apply. Not innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty until proven innocent. I like that. The guilty until proven innocent doctrine being an extraordinary provision to cure an extraordinary malady of the times shall expire within 30 years after the effective date of this constitution. So part 4, regional territorial administration. The territory of Nigeria shall be reconfigured into regional territories as the basis of the federation. So, part 4.1, processes and procedure for transformation. 1. Members of the respective regional territories as existing at the commencement of this act are as follows: North Central Region, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, and Plateau. Northeast Region, Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe. C. Northwest Region, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. Southeast Region, Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo. South Region, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, and Rivers. And the Southwest Region, Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo. 2. Subsequently, after the commencement date, but within 12 calendar months thereafter, the respective state assemblies shall meet individually, jointly, and severally consult to prescribe the processes and guidelines to be applied towards the institution of the suitable governance structure for their territories. 3. Ethnic nationalities, ethnic subnationalities, and peoples within the territory enumerated in sub-article 1 of this article shall have the right to maintain, reconfigure or merge, or establish new administrative units, and or adopt any suitable nomenclature as may be determined by the respective state assemblies without any direction from any other authority. 4. The quest to exist as a region by any ethnic nationality or subnationalities shall be subject only to the following stipulations. A. Proof of economic self-sustainability of a contiguous territory. B. Demonstrable capacity to contribute shared contributions to maintain federal government. C. Proactive plans for the exploitation and development of local resources and potentials. D. Intent to collaborate and cooperate in pursuit of self-development. And 8. In fulfillment of the above requirements, there will be an exit clause for subethnic nationalities of peoples and regions who desire to switch to an independent sovereignty, subject to the following. A due notice by proposed sovereign political zone. B. A specified period of consultations and then referendum to ascertain the wishes of the citizens of the said political zone, approving their voluntary desire to be a sovereign territory. 3. The right of any ethnic nationalities or people to create, merge, or reconfigure the existing states within their respective regions shall be exercisable under the following procedures. A. The demand for reconfiguration has been approved by a 2/3, 66% majority of the members of the council of the ethnic nationality or people in the area concerned. B. The state assembly that received the demand shall organize a referendum within 6 months to be held in the area of the ethnic nationality or people that made the demand. C. The demand for the statehood configuration is supported by 2/3, 66% majority vote in the referendum. The regional government will transfer its powers to the ethnic nationality or people that made the demand. And E. The newly created or reconfigured sub-regional entity by the referendum without any need for application automatically becomes a member of the region concerned, and then the federal government and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. F. The newly created or reconfigured sub-regional entity by the referendum shall have equal rights and obligations as all others within the region and in the Republic. G. where the concerned peoples and states within the region fail to reach agreement on any issue pertaining to this exercise, the regional legislature shall decide such disputes based on settlement patterns and the wishes of the people concerned. So 4, also, after the commencement date or at any other time in future, ethnic nationalities and peoples across the regional territories enumerated above have the right to express the wish to move and be merged across regional but contiguous borders. 5, the right of any ethnic nationality or peoples to create or merge territories contiguously across regional borders shall be exercisable under the following procedures. A, the demand for regional cross-border reconfiguration has been approved by a 2/3, 66% majority of the members of the Council of the Ethnic Nationality or people in the area concerned, and the demand is presented in writing to the 2 or more regional governments concerned. B, the government of the concerned regions that receive the demand shall jointly organize a referendum within 6 months to be held in the area of the ethnic nationality or people that make the demand. C, the demand for cross-border configuration is supported by 2/3, 66% majority vote in the referendum. D, the 2 or more regional governments concerned will transfer its powers to the ethnic nationalities or people that made the demand. And E, the cross-border configuration by the referendum without any need for application automatically becomes a member of the sub-regional entity within the region concerned, and then the Federal Republic of Nigeria. F, the newly created or reconfigured sub-territorial units by the referendum shall have equal rights and obligations as all others in the region and in the Republic. G, where the concerned regions fail to reach agreement on any issue pertaining to this exercise, the National Assembly shall decide such dispute based on the settlement pattern and the wishes of the peoples concerned, with emphasis on consensus. H, the decision of the National Assembly may be the subject of an appeal to the Federal Supreme Court. The decision of the Federal Supreme Court shall be final. So part 4.2, basis of regional government. Regions shall have the following powers and functions. A, every region occupying a contiguous territory shall be entitled to separate regional constitution fashioned to suit our worldview and outlook of living and development aspirations. B, to establish a regional territorial administration that best advances self-government, a democratic order based on the rule of law to protect and defend the federal constitution. C, to establish any administrative unit constituted based on the principles of federalism and self-determination that is well suited to all constituent ethnic nationalities in our territories. D, the regional and or sub-regional legislatures shall have powers to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the region, state, or any part thereof with respect to all concurrent and residual matters not expressly stated in the federal constitution. E, to establish and administer regional territorial security and maintain public order and peace. F, to establish regional territorial supreme high and first instant courts. The particulars of these courts shall be determined by laws enacted for the purpose by the regional legislatures. And G, regional supreme courts shall have the highest and final judicial power over regional and sub-regional matters. They shall also exercise the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court in any civil and criminal matters. Part 4.3, drafting and enactment of regional constitutions. 1, the respective state assemblies shall act jointly and severally to prescribe the processes and procedures for the drafting of regional constitutions and getting the peoples of the territory to ratify same prior to its registration with the National Assembly. Thank you so much, man. So, regional constitution shall apply the tenet of federalism and self-determination in dealing with the constituent ethnic nationalities and subnationalities. 3, the constitution so enacted shall be registered with the National Assembly for documentation and reference purposes only. 4. The constitution so enacted for each region territory shall have the force of law throughout that region, but subject only to regional judicial supervision without interference by any other body. So part 4.4, equal rights between the federating regions. 1. All regional territories shall have equal rights and power. They shall have equal number of legislators in the National Assembly, such that no region will be conferred with a superior advantage over any other on any ground whatsoever. The governments at the federal and regional level are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations based on consultation, collaboration, and cooperation. 3. The regional territories shall ensure reasonable access to its services in all parts of a territory, so far as it is appropriate to do so, having regard to the nature of the service and subject to administrative regulations as may be determined by the regional legislature. Part 4.5, regional border changes and disputes. 1. All regional cross-border disputes shall be settled by agreement of the concerned regions. Where the concerned regions fail to reach agreement, the National Assembly shall decide such disputes based on settlement patterns and the wishes of the people concerned. 2. The decision of the National Assembly may be the subject of an appeal to the Federal Supreme Court. The decision of the Federal Supreme Court shall be the final. Part 5, which is almost the last part of their drafted constitution. So, enactment. Part 5. Part 5.1. Federal. The National Assembly shall produce a new federal constitution for Nigeria within 6 calendar months of this act being effective. It shall be done by a technical committee based on the synthesis of all previous enactments and result of constitutional conferences as may be in conformity with the provisions and stipulation in this act. 2. The National Assembly shall transmit the enactment to the respective state assemblies for passage with a simple majority vote. Okay, now they are talking. Okay. Because that's how it's done, though. So on ratification by a simple majority number of state assemblies, the new federal constitution for Nigeria shall be voted upon by all Nigerians of voting age with a simple majority vote. The new constitution shall be deemed to have been passed by the people of Nigeria. Part 5.2, regional. 1. The respective state assembly of each regional territory shall produce a new constitution for the regional territory. It shall be done by a technical committee based on the synthesis of all previous enactments as may be in conformity with the provisions and stipulations in this act. 2. On ratification by a simple majority number of state assemblies, the new regional constitution shall be voted upon by all citizens of voting age in the territory. With a simple majority vote, the constitution shall be deemed to have been passed by the people of that region. So part 6, legislative lists. So the exclusive, which is part 6, part 6.1. So the exclusive list is the one for the federal government. So they say in this regional system of government they are introducing, so the federal government, the executive at the federal level, they will be in charge of the following. 1, external defense, naval, army, and air forces. 2, external affairs. 3, immigration, passport and visas. 4, aviation, including airports, safety of aircraft and ancillary transport as it relates to international bodies. 5, foreign borrowing by the federation from other countries. 6, currency, coinage, and legal tender. 7, banking regulations. 8, pensions, gratuities, and other like benefits payable out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund or any other public fund of the Federation. 9, the public debt of the Federation. 10. Public service of the Federation, including the settlement of disputes between the Federation and officers in the public service of the Federation. 11. Taxes and duties on revenue sources reserved to the federal government. So then the concurrent list. That is a chapter, part 6.2. These are powers to be exercised only with express prior consent and concurrence with the respective regional territorial administrations. 1. Internal security, police and policing services. 2. Ownership and control of defense security services. 3. Prison services. 4. Interregional coordination. 5. Bankruptcy and insolvency. 6. Income taxes and excise duty. 7. Fingerprints, identification, and criminal records. 8. Power and energy. 9. Power to make grants of money, etc., for any legitimate purposes. 10. Interregional land and marine transportation. 11. Interregional transportation railways, including ancillary transport and other services. 12. Borrowing of monies within Nigeria for the purposes of the federal, regional, and or state governments. 13. Enforcement of the human rights established by the Constitution and international conventions. 14. Interregional commerce. 15. Scientific research and development. 16. Sports. 17. Communications and digital economy. Then page 18, which is part 6, chapter 3, residual list. All the powers not expressly delegated to the federal government by the Constitution are therefore exclusively reserved to the regions. So part 7, transitional provisions. 1. During the transition period, towards the enactment of the new federal and regional constitutions, the National Assembly shall undertake the following. A. Codify all federal laws and enactments that currently subsist and enforce for possible amendment or repeal. B. Undertake every modifications and amendments to all the existing laws, such as would bring all of them into conformity with the letter and spirit of this act. C. Formulate and manage all schemes and processes towards an inventory and documentations of assets and projects, inclusive of contractual liabilities as may be applicable. D. Design and manage frameworks and enact formulas into the equitable sharing of all assets and liability between and among all government entities. 2. The peoples of the territories designated and referred to as regions or subregions shall immediately commence consultative processes towards ascertaining the wishes of the respective ethnic nationalities on how to live and partner together towards charting the course of self-development. 3. Where applicable, various processes, inclusive of a formal referendum, shall be implemented towards arriving at the appropriate political and economic configurations of their territories regarding the composition of states or regions and or regions. 4. The current federal administration and the state government as they presently are shall do all that would be necessary towards the effective takeoff of a newly reconfigured government at federal and regional levels on the effective date to be agreed upon, but not later than October 1st, 2023. This was in 2021. Oh. So now it's now modified, and it's modified and reintroduced on the 29th of May, 2024. I told you, that's a long read, but I'm glad that, we've read that. We've put that here. So some of you who possibly, to so many of us who possibly laugh all through when I was reading all of that, okay? And then you heard about it, but you do not know you don't have a clue what the content is. The link is in the comment section. Use it, read it, okay? Somebody drafted that a while back. And from what we have been told, it seems that they are pushing something like that in the National Assembly of Nigeria. And immediately that came out, people were like, no, it's just a distraction, John. It's absolute nonsense, Baba. I said, well, with the latest development that you are seeing in Nigeria, this one shouldn't kind of like, you shouldn't get caught unaware on this. You are currently being led by people who are so unscrupulous and mischievous too. So whatever the end goal is, right? Keep your eyes peeled like that, open. But if they decided to kind of push this, well, I would say that's good. Like let's give it a shot. Let them start with the attempt to actually like have a real constitution where referendum and all. Somebody said this sounded so too good to be true. I know. It's more or less like this could only be probably written by somebody like Mayegun. Because people who are like currently in charge of Nigeria, they will never want to do anything like that. Ever. Never. But there is something they can do, which is, if they test the water, they have dropped it now. If they test the water and all of you begin to kind of deliberate it and begin to kind of like say, it's like people like the idea. Okay? So in that act, if you have been president before, it doesn't matter. Okay? You have the chance of becoming the president again. All you have to do is just to have just make sure that your political party has the majority in the National Assembly so that they can keep electing you as their leader. You'll be the president. So as the president of the country, now you go appoint the prime minister. And you have the chance of spending 12 years. So some people who saw it earlier, that was what they first saw, which is the third agenda of the FNUMBU, and they are testing the water now. In fact, we are reacting now, are we not? We are. But the point here is this. When I don't want you to completely, I don't want you to like outrightly just push it aside like, oh, my ego is not in Jare. No. Pay attention to detail. Pay attention to the happenings. It's so important you do. So that you don't turn around later and be like, this one remain. Why is this one priority? Let me show you something. When Kolu met with the Arewa Consultative Forum, and he was talking to them about his priorities. And he told them that his priority was to return you back to the old anthem. He's done that now. So returning you back to regional system that is not the 1960s. There are so many Yorubas who are asking that we should return back to 1963 constitution, Republican constitution, where you have regional system. Okay? But here is the point. Tifnubu can actually take, he said he's still going to take you to so many bags. He said it. Now, it's probably going to take you back to 1963. But it's never going to be the same 1963 that you have in mind. It's going to be Tifnubu's created 1963. And like this, Unago opener is the watch. So he told them, he said, let me play you this. I know you don't like seeing this face, okay, but you've seen a video where he was asking that they should try and speak, the Arewas should try and call the governors too. He is doing his own best. They should call the governors too to come and do something about the poor people, right? Then he was talking about the national anthem that he just changed. And many other things he's still going to. We must. Let me use this as my break, okay? I know you don't like his face, but you just have to watch this.
January or from February or from March, April, May. You are still my brothers and sisters. I know deep down in your heart, you watched the election drama played out. So many of you voted for me. Those who disagree with me voted the other way. But I'm here. And I thank all of you, particularly God Almighty, for placing me here. I've listened to the statistics. Yes, you voted massively for me. I got here with that mandate. But that shouldn't be the end of it. So, for you to come this time of the year to congratulate me, combined prayers and fellowship for the first year in office. You have making early strikes to remind me of my promise to pay attention to the need of Nigeria. Yes, identity problem is the North or the South. To me, I don't see that. I see humanity. All God has put us together. There's no doubt that we are going to be one. Let me allude to something that happened yesterday. The change of national anthem. Nigeria will hate it. Some people say, okay, so what? Is that your priority? It's my priority. I agree with the National Assembly. If they make law, I got to obey that law. Or we disagree openly and close the chapter. But the question of diversity, who gave us the name Nigeria? Is it not Britain or somewhere? Have we changed our name? We are Nigerians. Our passport shows that. As long as we are Nigerians and one family, we remain and protect our diversity and love one another as brothers and sisters. Thank you, sir. For all that you are doing for Nigeria to be united. I'm glad the SGF had mentioned the appointment. I don't see it as the North and South. I see it as a Nigerian project. The question of who you are, you have no control over it. It is God Almighty that put you in that particular place and make you a member of that family. You have no control over it. When I came begging for votes, I didn't say vote for me as a Yoruba man. I say vote for me as a Bola Ahmed Tinubu one of you accept me. And I could see the result. I'm handing on to that mandate jealously. And I'm working my heart out. And I promise you, I still work harder. The question of out of school children is unacceptable. Education is a tool against poverty. That brought so many of us here.
That's not bad. It's not, it's in its clowning element.
Hello, my wonderful people. As we have finished watching this interesting video, please, I want to see your comment, your contribution, your opinion in the comment section. Like I said earlier, let us do it constructively. Tell me what you think about this video that you have just watched, and also about the platform. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please remember to subscribe, put on your notification bell, share this video, and remain blessed.